And we are live. Welcome to the Rome Show. And
Absolutely.
this is really appreciate you for doing this.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is a special episode. Um, because I never knew what a chiropractic was until I needed one a
Gotcha.
couple years ago.
Yep.
And so yeah, what made you want to do that when you were growing up?
So it's a funny story actually. I was 11 years old. I got hit by a car,
Oh,
and I needed a chiropractor after, because I was crossing the street. I got hit. The person was speeding, so we ended up suing their insurance. So I was seeing a chiropractor to help with my pain and all that other stuff. And since then, I've been wanting to be a chiropractor. So I was shadowing chiropractors in high school, shadowing chiropractors in college, and directly after you know college, I went straight to chiropractic school. And to this day, man, I tell people I love what I do. I really can't imagine myself doing anything else.
wow, that's a crazy story. And
Yeah.
how long does it take to go to school to do that?
So it's 4 years of undergrad. So I got my bachelor's degree in biology, and then I went on to chiropractic school and received my doctorate in chiropractic.
Amazing. And where was the school located? What school was it?
So for undergrad, I went to the College of Mount St. Vincent, and it's now the University of Mount St. Vincent in the Bronx, New York. And
Okay.
for chiropractic school, I went to University of Bridgeport in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yep.
Fire. And how was it like the homework, like the
So I
assignments?
mean, for undergrad, it was tough, man. I mean, it was tough because I had to balance my social life and my work. I mean, my school life. So once you get adapted to that, it's fun and you enjoy it. But chiropractic school is a little different. There really wasn't much of a social life because you were, in school. It was like a job almost. You're in school from 8:30 to 5:30 or 6 every day.
Wow.
So that was it was challenging for sure. Um, but at the end of the day, it needed you obviously need the schooling. So for the first 2 years, it was just academics. We're taking like all the anatomies, the physiologies, the neurologies, embryology, all the sciences. And in the last 2 years, along with some academic courses, we were mostly in like clinical rotation. So I was an intern at the VA hospital in Newington, Connecticut. I was a student intern at the outpatient clinic on campus. Um, so the last 2 years flew by because we're treating patients, we're doing what we love. But the first 2 years were brutal, man, brutal.
And so you're interning and doing school at the same time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're treating patients and doing the academics at the same time. Yeah, it was
And
tough.
yeah, that's crazy. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it was, man. It was a lot, but it was worth it, man. I mean, nothing that's worth it comes easy.
Right. And
Yeah.
what's some personal things that you did every day to keep yourself balanced out with everything you had going on?
So I was actually working through chiropractic school. I was a tutor because I had a tutoring business, and I would also make sure that I would like force myself to like enjoy, you know, my time there. Like I would, force myself to go out or do something to stay social because you don't want to get burnt out. School will really just like it'll burn you out. You'll feel like, oh my God, when does it end? I'm always in school. Like you leave school, you go to the library, you study, exam after exam. So I was like, although my social life can't be what it used to be, I still have to create, some sort of social life for myself. So, so yeah, I had to tell myself like you have to enjoy the time you're, while you're in school. That's bro, it was brutal. It was brutal. It was brutal. Yeah.
Man, I bet. And I bet you're proud of yourself now because where you got to
Yeah,
now.
yeah, for sure. Definitely like every, me as a person. I mean, there's a lot of people like this where they'll like, accomplish something, and then they're so focused on the next accomplishment, they really don't focus on how much they've accomplished. But I definitely do sit back like, damn, that was really tough. I'm glad I got through that. I'm glad that, you know, I did well and everything, but right now it's on to the next accomplishment, right? I went straight into private practice after. Um, so at this point, I'm just trying to grow my practice, trying to grow the
Super
practice.
fire.
Yeah.
Uh, what's 3 tips that you could give to somebody that wants to do what you do?
Oh, I'll tell you. So tip one is go the most economical route, man. I went to a very expensive college. Had I known how expensive like college really is, not only like paying for, the college and the board, but paying for the books and everything, I have no regrets. I
Hmm.
love my college, but if I were to give advice, I'd say go to the most economical school. Like, try to save money where you can, because when you're in school for 8 years, it is expensive, like very, very expensive. That's 4 years of undergrad. Then you got to pay for another 4 years of chiropractic school. So um, I would tell them, like, just make sure that you keep it, as economical as possible. That's the one tip. Second would be make time for yourself. Sometimes when we're going through schooling or any type of like prep for whatever we want to do in life, you know, you forget about yourself. You're thinking of your future self, like I want this for me. That's why I'm working so hard now. But you have to, really put some time aside for yourself, because you don't want to get burnt out, right? You don't want to get to the point where you're like, you're not even interested in it anymore because you're so burnt out from that. So the third would be, uh, you know, to really treat uh, your craft like it's a better wording would be, your ambition determines your success. So if you don't want to have like this huge practice, or you don't want to, practice for a long time, then, you don't have to be too ambitious. But if you want the best for yourself, you really have to put in a lot of work. So I would just tell them to, buckle those bootstraps and saddle up, because it is a lot of work, and it can be a little stressful. But if you ask me, 100,000% worth it.
Right.
Yeah,
Good
100,000%
tips.
worth it.
What's one thing that you haven't done with your career yet that you want to do?
One thing that I haven't done with my career that I want to do is, that is a great question, and damn. So one thing that I would want to do is a potentially franchise my business. I want to have, multiple offices, not only statewide, right, but I really would like to have some offices in, New York, Boston, and franchise it.
Yeah.
So that's like
Make it.
that would be a really, really, big goal for me,
Yeah. Make it like all over the place.
all over the place. Yeah. So we're I'm trying to just create systems to automate my business, so that, when you create another Charleston Chiropractic group, nothing changes. You still get the same quality care, you still get the same protocol, you still get the same policies. Kind of like McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, when you walk into a McDonald's in, New York versus Connecticut, not much differs, right? You have different people working there, but their business is automated. And that's why it's so easy to run itself. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than most to run itself. So I'm trying to create the same thing with my business, where, my business is automated, so that I can, branch off and create another one. But when I create the other one, you're still going to get the same quality as the first one. With a lot of businesses, you see them branch off, and the quality tends to just get lower and lower and lower. And I don't want that for my business. I want to branch off, create the same quality care, same policies, same efficient staff, everything. So that's what I want for myself.
All right. It'll happen.
Yeah, yeah, it will. Yeah, we put in the work. Put in the work.
Um, I gotta ask this. What's like one of the body parts that you get nervous if you have to like snap back in place, or like, you know,
Honestly, man, I really don't get nervous for any of the body parts. Um, you know, uh, a lot of patients, I will say, a lot of patients are, fearsome, or they're afraid of getting a neck adjustment, just because they're like, oh, it's my neck. But I tell them, like, chiropractic adjustment is a very safe procedure. We've done a lot of schooling to know what to do and what not to do. So, um, but I wouldn't say that there's a body part that I'm afraid of adjusting. I will say, my practice is a bit conservative compared to most. You have chiropractors that adjust like infants and everything, which is not a bad thing, right? Um, but we don't, right? So we don't do that. We don't adjust infants or anything of that sort.
Yeah, because when I got my neck cracked, because my muscle system shut down,
Yeah.
um, the way the lady cracked it, I was just like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We tend to get the same reaction. People are like in disbelief. But what I love about my job, or what I love about what I do, is that the instant gratification for some, where it's like, yo, damn, I really needed this. You saved my life. This is crazy. And for others, it's like the delayed gratification, because they're going through, um, the trial of care, and they're like, my back hurts immediately. Like, I need you to help me right now. Um, and then they get treatment. They continue with treatment, and it's like, oh wow, like I feel better. So it's dope. Both sides of it. Both sides of it.
Right. And
Yeah.
when y'all do it, the neck, the leg, you guys do it like real calm, smooth,
Right.
having a
Yeah.
conversation at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah. Yeah. We've treated, before we graduate from chiropractic school, we have to treat like hundreds of patients. Right.
Oh
So
wow.
we are, extremely, seasoned. I mean, obviously not compared to someone that's been practicing for 35 years. Right. But we do go through extensive training in school, to prepare us for, you know, um, post grad, right? Post chiropractic school. So it is, to a lot of patients it can be scary, but it is really really safe, and we are extremely um, cautious with doing it.
Yeah, and it really does help too.
Absolutely, man. It definitely does help. Yo. It definitely does help. Sorry, one second.
Right. And I could see you like with your own TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Would you,
yeah,
would you
man.
do
I
that?
don't know, man. That's something that I enjoy. It really is. You have creative freedom when you have your own practice. The way we market, the way we do social media, the way we do everything is just, I have creative control, and that's what I love, because I can be myself, right? When marketing, when doing the commercials, and thinking of the billboards, thinking of the slogans and everything. So it's dope, man. It really is dope. It's crazy. I mean, as you know, man, social media is just huge, a huge aspect in all businesses. Before it was like, oh, does a business have a website? And now it's like, oh, well, do they have social media, right? Obviously, the website's just like, everyone should have a website, right? In my opinion,
Right.
at least. But now it's like, oh, well, let me see their social media. Like, what's their social media like? So
That's like the first thing.
it's really cool that how social media has really impacted businesses and everything, and it's dope letting our personality shine through our business, and through our social media. It really is a cool thing.
Seriously, like nowadays, that's like the first thing.
Absolutely, definitely is. Yeah, it definitely is.
Right. Well, I know you're pretty busy. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up, can you give like something motivational, life
Absolutely, man.
motivational?
I'll tell you this. You know, my journey to where I am, and I'm nowhere where I need to be, or where I want to be. But even getting here, there was just so many obstacles that I faced, and one thing that differentiates, the truly successful to the people that are not so successful, right? Is just, them, the successful being extremely resilient, right? So when faced with obstacles, that you could do one of two things: you can either give up, or you can figure it out, right? Or you can just blaze through, and strategically plan how I can get through this. So there are a lot of cases where it's like, yo, I don't know how I'm going to do this, But you just got to stay positive, and you just have to be resilient, man. And I know it's so cliche, like, oh, if you fall, get back up and keep walking. But it really, really is extremely important to understand that, in business, in life, in relationships, in everything that you do, nothing is smooth sailing. You will always run into obstacles or, tribulations, or something will always be in your way. But depending on how much you want it, you can easily, or sometimes not so easily, get through, right? So my word of encouragement would be to stay resilient, stay motivated, stay ambitious. If something comes in your way, do not cower or run away from the situation. It's best to just face it head on, um, because everyone has obstacles that they have to face in order to get what they want. Nothing worth it comes easy, and I've heard that so many times growing up. But I truly understand that nothing worth it comes easy. You have to put in the work, especially when you're from the inner city and you weren't given certain opportunities. So we have to work extra hard, to get what we want. I love my parents, and they did everything they could, but they got here in the 80s. They didn't have much. They did more than most would, but they really didn't have much. So we don't have the luxury of um, being lackadaisical. We don't have the luxury of being nonchalant. We have to be aggressive. We have to be very, very hungry to get what we want.
Right. Good advice. Good advice. Well, I
Definitely.
really appreciate you for coming on the
Of
podcast.
course, man. I definitely love what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing, yo. I love that you're really, you have range with your podcast. I was looking when I first followed you. You have a range of people, and you have like there's every type of audience watching you, because you have people that are business savvy. The people that are into music, people that are into everything that you could possibly touch upon on the past podcasting level. You have, and that's dope. Keep doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you the first doctor.
Definitely. It won't be the last though. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No problem, man.
All
Well,
right. Take
salute to
care. Have
you,
a good
man.
one. Thank you.
Definitely.
Salute to you too.
Definitely. And take care, boss.
All right. You too.